Hey, Mean Matt here. Yes, I didn't do a Raw review last week. I didn't think about doing a Raw review. I did watch Raw, some of it anyways. Um, Kind of really want to know what's going on because this whole thing with John Cena, which by the way, my new nickname for the little son of a bitch will be John the Hypocrite Cena. You want to talk about before WrestleMania, John Cena coming out and saying that The Rock is an idiot because all of a sudden he leaves for 7 years. He only makes appearances when he wants to. He shows up, or he doesn't show up, and he only comes on satellite. Well, let me see, John Boy. What happened this Monday? You had John Cena show up in a cast on satellite. Kind of hypocritical, seeing how you're the one that said that it was The Rock's fault for not showing up on Raw to address the people. Let's go back to Extreme Rules, where you defeated Brock Lesnar and you go on to say that you are leaving for a bit. And then you show up on Raw the next night wearing a sling. The same sling you wore this Monday. And you're a complete fucking hypocrite. You have no idea why people boo you. There's your answer. You have no idea why people want you out of the WWE. There's your answer. Because you, John Cena, are a fucking hypocrite. I'm sick and tired of watching Raw. And yes, I know, I go on other people's website where they talk about how Randy Orton sucks, and I agree. And they talk about how much Triple H sucks, and I agree. But let's focus on one man and one man only for now. And I've done a rant with John Cena. I've done a rant about him. I've done everything I said for the last few weeks. I've noticed a pattern here, and that is he is doing exactly what he said The Rock was doing, and The Rock was screwing over the fans. Now, if this is some kind of heel heat that he's potentially going to do, however, we're going to see Johnny Ace take on John Cena out over the limit. Furthermore, Brock Lesnar didn't show up on Raw. This week, Brock Lesnar did not show up, and we got a surprise return, or maybe a surprise return from Paul Heyman. And the letter here from NoDQ.com says, we noted yesterday that Paul Heyman is with WWE through August SummerSlam pay-per-view, and we will be representing Brock Lesnar like 2002. So yeah, let's rewind 10 years ago. Heyman is being used as WWE has Lesnar signed for a limited number of dates. One idea is discussed was to have Lesner sue WWE for breach of contract and money owed. Played off the actual legal battle the two sides had years ago, which don't know really what that is and don't care. This angle would include all sorts of viral campaigns, something Heyman is experienced with, that would help get it over as a legitimate issue between WWE and Lesnar. Heyman is not expected to go on the road full time with WWE, and at last word, he was only involved in Lesnar's storyline and not working WWE creative. While one of the reasons Heyman has returned is to work with close friend Lesnar, word is that he also returned to potentially work with CM Punk down the line. Heyman has much respect for Punk and will work with him on the upcoming Punk DVD release. Backstage reaction to Heyman at Raw on Monday was positive. He was warmly greeted by the younger talents, as some of them know him from their time in WWE development. Now, I talked about how John Cena was a hypocrite. Now, unlike John Cena, I have respect for Paul Heyman. I like Paul Heyman. But I've seen the shoot interviews that he did last year and burying Vince McMahon and wrestling in general, saying that Vince McMahon himself, drove ECW to the ground, and that Paul Heyman had no interest in returning to the WWE. Hell, he even had TNA calling him up and saying, would you like to join TNA? Now, understanding that TNA is exactly what WCW was in the 90s, I wouldn't think Heyman would want to do that. So now that Heyman's back, we'll see how this is going to go out, if he does return at all. Because we all know that Paul Heyman himself, is indeed a great manager and a great speaker. Other than that, on a positive note, and I won't get into the whole over the limit thing, but on a positive note, they will have Daniel Bryan versus CM Punk for the WWE Championship. And as I heard, I don't really watch ROH. I watch the best of ROH, and I've seen both Punk and Bryan Danielson fight, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. I actually want to see Daniel Bryan go out as the WWE champion. It might happen, it might not, who knows, but it would be interesting to carry that belt all the way to SummerSlam, even though CM Punk was the WWE champion for the longest time since Survivor Series of last year. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Can't wait to see what SmackDown is, and we'll see what happens on Raw. So, talk to you later. Bye.